Not only is Into the Spider-Verse the best Spider-Man movie, it's the best movie of the year. Quote me on it, at me, combat me, I said it, I claim it. Movie of the year. It's amazing that after 2 reboots, 6 movies, and 8 appearances, Spider-Man is still able to produce something that makes the whole world stop and stare in awe. This film is unlike any animated movie you've seen this year. The gorgeous animation of Into the Spider-Verse is a combination of hand-drawn comic book pages and computer animation. The goal here was to make every frame look like a comic book panel. The animators describe this as living art, made to look like the characters are in a comic book. There's editor boxes, narrator boxes, Bengay dots, panels. It's a genius move that allows the movie to pay homage to the comic book art styles of the Spider-Man comics. This process required a crew of 140 animators to complete, and it took 2 years before the first usable 10 seconds of footage was made. It's the first seeing an animated film that showcases the brilliance of comic book art and design through its visuals. Marvel kind of tried to do this with motion comics such as the Marvel Knight series, but it's nowhere near as well done as what we see here. It's not surprising when you look at who's involved. You have Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, whom you might know as the guys who brought you the Lego Movie. And when it comes to animation, they know their stuff. What I loved about the animation is how the surrounding environment comes to life with the action. Nothing stays static. The world around you moves with the action. Word bubbles come into play. The onomatopoeia hits the page, like the panels split to show increase in motion. The images hit you fast, but you're never overwhelmed by all the colors on the screen. Another thing I love is how each character was designed in distinct ways to highlight the personality and the universe. Penny Parker comes from a manga-inspired universe. It looks like an anime character. Spider-Ham, who is more cartoony than the rest of the cast. People who saw this have told me they were freaked out by the Kingpin's humongous, deformed shoulders. Like, he's ridiculously large and fills the space of every room he's in. Now, the inspiration for this comes from Bill Siskevich's Daredevil, Love and War. Likewise, in this comic, he fills the space in every scene he's in. It's weird to see at first glance, and it requires an adjustment period, but it sells you on his power and his position as the biggest obstacle before you. If you want to take a look at the designs for this movie, the concept art book is on sale at Amazon, and it details the director's notes and approach to bringing this into full production. So the animation is on point, it's beautiful, it's fresh, but what about the story? Now, for 70 years, Spider-Man has been defined by a single mantra.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Into the Spider-Verse shifts that focus. It's still there, but its philosophy is based on the idea that anyone can be Spider-Man. Miles is the perfect avatar for this story because he is new to this lesson. The questions he must ask himself are a bit different to what Peter had to deal with at a young age. In Peter's origin, his question was, what do I do with all these powers? His answer, do tricks on TV, wrestle, be a dick. He learned his lesson. In short, help people who need help. Miles learns this lesson early on. He takes on a heroic responsibility, but he finds himself coming up short in that department. He's sloppy, and he doesn't know how his powers work. As much as he wants to be Spider-Man, he's simply not ready. So his question is, can I be a hero? Specifically, can I be Spider-Man? Yes, with great power comes great responsibility, but can you rise to the challenge when it's your turn to answer the call? Now, every Spider-Man movie has a becoming Spider-Man moment where the hero picks himself up and fights back his personal demons just in time to swing into action. Without a doubt, this has been the best of those becoming Spider-Man moments in the history of the franchise. When we get to this moment in this movie, it's the most emotionally charged moment of the film. Your heart swells with pride, you smile, you're swinging through that city with Miles. And this largely works because of the amazing animation and the well-packaged story. The challenge of the script is in introducing a new Spider-Man, a new universe, then 4 more Spider-Man. And to still do it in a way that makes each character feel distinct and have their own moment. And that's where most films fail. It's where Spider-Man 3 famously blundered. Into the Spider-Verse makes this look easy. Each character has a clear, defined purpose, and it's understood. Kingpin is a slimy, necklace bastard, but there's a reason to what he's doing. His methods are dangerous, but his intent is clear. And Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir is the most perfect voice casting since Phil Lamar as Green Lantern. The next thing this movie does magnificently is balancing the shifts in tone. Like 1 minute, I'm laughing at a cartoon pig. The next, I'm scared as shit. It's a spectacular juggling of tones, and it never feels manic or mismatched. Miles and Old Man Peter are always bantering and bickering, and it manages to be endearing because the film is careful not to let it go on for too long. It doesn't do lazy or easy jokes. It's very disciplined in its content. It knows when to insert the comedy and when to turn it off. Into the Spider-Verse is clearly a love letter to Spider-Man fans. This movie seduced me. This movie put his hand on my shoulder and it said, hey, it's filled with nods to Spider-Man memes, arcane references to classic Spider-Man comic book moments, and inside jokes to all the other millions of other Spider-Man movies. And like for the neutral fans who maybe don't get this, it paces itself well enough to keep you hooked and interested. And my favorite little nod in the movie was Miles having Bendis, his creator, as a contact on his phone. That, to me, was a very beautiful moment. This iconic shot from Miles' solo book slotted into a scene, also great. And I put some notes in my review to mention things that could have been better, but I really have nothing. There was never a point in this movie where I felt like I wasn't getting what I came for. I got much more than I expected. If I have to give this a rating, this gets everything. Like a 5 out of 5, a 10 out of 10, 100 tomatoes, cigar on a crepe. It's amazing, spectacular. It's the best movie of the year, I say again. There are little kids who are gonna leave the cinema, and they're gonna grow up knowing Miles as their first Spider-Man and Gwen as their first Spider-Woman. And that's a triumph. And I remember when people hated the idea of a black Spider-Man, of the revival of Gwen Stacy as Spider-Gwen. And Into the Spider-Verse shows that taking risks on characters in print is always worth it. Thank you for watching. I'll be doing more videos such as this, so if you don't want to miss a single release, hit that subscribe button. And remember, everyone can be a hero.